It's it, fuck that. It's it, fuck that. It's the one. It's the one. Live by the call, ride with the gun, live for my queen, die for my son, drinking my cup, smoking my lungs, the life that we live, get off fear none. I look around, the city I'm from, the places we've been, the spots that we hung, and it ain't the same, but we don't complain, but make no mistakes.
Got ride with the mob, cause I stay with the drum, bitch I don't fear none, me and my OG, going on OG, put cushion my lungs, gotta stay focused, keep both eyes open, cause where I'm from, niggas hopeless, they'll blow shit, they don't know shit. Got ride with the mob, cause I stay with the drum, bitch I don't fear none, me and my OG, going on OG, put cushion my lungs, gotta stay focused, keep both eyes open, cause where I'm from, niggas hopeless, they'll blow shit, they don't know shit.
What should I ride, nigga? Benz or the lack? Hit the highway with the wind in my back, blood in my eyes, tears in my yak. The nigga that you met, same nigga in my raps. I hit the road with minimal luggage. I came with killers if I'm in the function. I move with gorillas and all of his thuggin'. They ask where we from, straight out the jungle. They want my demise. I think it's funny, yo, bitch on my line. Pussy get punished, you know I'm a ride. That road it get rugged, unlimited vibes. I'm rising above it. I know where I'm heading. Straight to the money. You play with my niggas, my family, my money, and shit it get ugly. I do what I want to. You do what you able. You looking for slicko, you know where I'm going, I'm straight to the paper. I put the food on the table, cause that's all I ever knew. I won't put no bitch on no pedestal, I got too much on my schedule. Live by the call, ride with the gun, live for my queen, die for my son, drinking my cup, smoking my lungs, the life that we live, get off fear none. I look around, the city I'm from, the places we've been, the spots that we hung, and it ain't the same, but we don't complain, but make no mistakes.
Got ride with the mob, cause I stay with the drum, bitch I don't fear none, me and my OG. Going on OG, put cushion my lungs, gotta stay focused, keep both eyes open, cause where I'm from, niggas hopeless, they'll blow shit, they don't know shit. Got ride with the mob, cause I stay with the drum, bitch I don't fear none, me and my OG, going on OG, put cushion my lungs, gotta stay focused, keep both eyes open, cause where I'm from, niggas hopeless, they'll blow shit, they don't know shit.
Hey, what y'all know about the legend of Marcy? Here are needles and shots of Bacardi, calling the shots in the lead.
All right. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind Sports and Entertainment live stream. Getting ready to get in some bite down boxing talk with a very special guest. His first time being on the show, so I definitely appreciate his time this Saturday morning. Put it out there, earlier today that I've been talking with the heavyweight prospect, Stephan Big Shot Shaw. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on, my man? How you doing, brother?
All right, man. I appreciate your time. As I just mentioned, I know you had some some family stuff to take care of out there earlier today. So
Yeah.
But thanks for definitely appreciate you making it on in.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate you for giving me a platform, to say my piece and speak my piece, after my fight. It's a pleasure to be on your show, brother.
All right, thank you. We'll get into that in just a second. I'm sitting here trying to work something real quick so people can figure out how to get in touch with you. There you go. I got all your social media up here.
Okay.
So people can, touch base with Big Shot, follow your career, and see what's going on with you.
Yes, sir. Sounds good, brother.
All right. So let's jump into it a little bit. Still, we'll see if some people come into the live chat. I'll remind folks that they can ask some questions if they want to. I know it's the kickoff of college football season, so we might be up. And then we got the ESPN Plus card jumping off in about 10 minutes, the preliminary fight. So it might be hard to get some people in here today, but maybe a diehard or two will check us out, and I'll pass along.
Hey, it's all good.
Right, I'll pass along any questions if they come up.
Yes, sir.
For a second, I guess we got a minute. You got any other sports that you follow, man?
I follow every sport pretty much. I follow baseball, bass too much, but I'm a big sports fan, man.
Was there any issue for you with the with the Rams moving up out of St. Louis a few years ago?
Yeah, that's all I know. You know what I mean? Pretty much since I was a little bitty boy that, the Rams, me being born in 92, I think they came here like 95, 96. And, I've been a diehard Ram fan, like I say, since I was little, seen them win their first Super Bowl. But it was a little problem, it was like, they going back to L.A. But me being a adopted son of San Diego, California, Southern California, they out there with me too. So I'm still a Rams fan.
Oh, okay. Well, what kind of chances do you give him this year? One of the sad developments for me, man, has been the fact that Ty Gurley's knee, it seems like it could be
Yeah,
something
man.
that troubles him throughout the remainder of his
For the
career.
rest of the career. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was kind of bad. It's been bad for him for a while now, man. But I think we still got one of the best defenses, especially defensive lines in the game. I think we acquired Clay Matthews, as another linebacker to fit that core. We still got the best defensive player in the game, especially defensive lineman. Big AD, Aaron Donald. He a monster. You know what I'm saying? So that's my guy. But I think the Rams still got a good chance. Jared Goff, he's still growing. He's only really showing you a little bit of what he can do. I'm still behind that Rams organization, but Todd Gurley, he's still a man. That knee is a major issue in his career. It's been for a while now. So hopefully we can get over that hump and still be contenders. Win the title.
Yeah, that kind of hurts my heart, man, because I was a huge Steven Jackson fan, and I felt like
Oh yeah.
he gave y'all so many years, man, and never really got the chance to showcase himself or his talents, in the
Man.
postseason.
Exactly, man. That's Todd Gurley. He's a Steven Jackson type of running back. You know what I mean? Big, elusive guy. He's big just like Steven Jackson was. And Steven Jackson, he was a great running back. He's kind of underrated for real. He had like 9, I think, consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. On the ground. So, he wasn't a slouch and he was a problem. Especially coming out to Marshall Park, he had a lot of big shoes to fill, and I think he filled them to a certain extent. At one point in time, he was our pure offense. He was all of our offense. Everything was going through Steven Jackson.
Definitely. If I can back up for a second, you mentioned, you expressed some appreciation for an obvious talent such as Aaron Donald. Just
Yeah.
from a boxer's perspective and the physicality that you have in boxing and everything and hand work. And I mean, obviously, you guys are using your hands and whatnot. Footwork is important in boxing. Is there anything that you appreciate in watching Donald do what he does from his position?
Oh man, absolutely. Just like you say, the hands and feet, man. Hands and feet is huge in boxing. Those agility drills that he's doing. His speed that his acceleration just off the line. That's major. He got very, very good on his feet, being a big guy. You know what I mean? So I definitely try to apply, hands and feet, agility drills in my workouts when I do my strength and conditioning, and when I do my training, hands and feet is a part of boxing. You know what I mean? So it goes hand in hand.
Okay. Last question on sports before we get into your situation. I actually had the opportunity to check out the Redbirds a couple of weeks ago when they were here to play the Cincinnati Reds.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on the team, man? It seems like one of the moments where St. Louis kind of doesn't have all of the big names that they've had in the past, but they still, are playing good ball.
Man, that's the Cardinals organization for you, man. If you really look at the last time that the Cardinals went to the World Series, we really didn't have a big name. Albert had just left, I think, 2 seasons before then. And, we made it with Carlos Beltran being our biggest hitter at that time. And he was kind of an older guy, not really in his prime like he was when he was with the Mets. But Cardinals organization always been a good organization. I think they're the second best organization in baseball behind the Yankees, especially if you look at statistics and championships. The Cardinals is one of those franchises, man. They get good. They got a good staff, and they got a good organization. Those guys, the Bush family, and just everybody. Just the entire Cardinals organization. They've been know how to pick guys and send guys to the D League, bring guys up from the D League, the AAA leagues, and, make those guys into stars without really knowing who they are, for the mass public knowing who they are. So the Cardinals organization has been known for that. And now we're number one in the division. We're looking good. We went to a game, took my family to a game early this year. Matt Carpenter hit 2 bombs out the park, you know what I mean? So, I love the Cardinals.
Yeah, Carpenter hit a bomb. We were out in right field, and usually I'm worried about sitting, in the first 2 rows behind the wall. And Carpenter hit one about 10 or 11 rows up behind us. So I was comfortable because I didn't have to try to catch that bad boy.
Yeah, Matt Carpenter, man, he, no gloves. He goes to the plate with no gloves, and he hitting hard, man. I love those guys. I'm a big Cardinals fan, man. I love going to the games here at the New Busch Stadium.
All right, well, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, I just wanted to give you a quick chance. It's always to get a guy on, a boxer, who can speak on other things and let us know what you guys do away from the sport and whatnot. So it's good to hear that you,
yes,
are up to speed on your, other things going on in your city and have other interests and whatnot. And you've already mentioned a couple of things about your family. We'll come back to that in just a second. Want to welcome one of my favorite guys in the chat, Mr. Carlos Castillo. Of course, feel free to get in any questions as you have them, Carlos. Thanks for tuning in today. And, I told you I stepped away from Twitter this week, so, I'm kind of doing things offline a little bit more. But let's jump into it, man. Thursday night on UFC Fight Pass, I saw your name on there, and I figured, I had to jump in and check it out. I had mentioned Fight Pass in the past, and and now that we're paying for all of these different apps and boxing
streaming services,
I was kind of reluctant to jump into another subscription, but like I said, I had a personal interest in this one. What grade would you give yourself on Thursday night's performance against Willie Jake Jr.?
I'll give myself, with me not having any southpaw sparring, because I was in camp for about 5 weeks and we couldn't get any southpaw sparring, and managing all of that, I'll give myself an A or A minus. I felt I did good, adjusted to his style. He was an agile guy. He was an agile guy, from the, he could move a little bit and, had upper body movement. He was ducking and dodging, trying to slip, ducking below my waist, but I caught up with him. I was headhunting a little bit early, because I caught him and I dropped him in the first round with a combination, and I started headhunting. But my trainer and my team, they just told me to go to the body. Once I started putting those shots to the body, I just put all the combinations together and just, try to get him up out of there like I did. So, like I said, I give myself an A minus. Still got a lot to improve. Not anything to prove, but everything to improve. Only getting better. 26 years old, and I felt I did good, man. I felt I did pretty good.
Okay. Now I did a kind of a reaction video or kind of a recap of it the next morning, and I was expecting a little bit more based on the fight that I saw you in person back in March in Columbus, Ohio, against Donovan Dennis and whatnot. So thanks for explaining that to me. While you might, like you said, a good win. It wasn't like you lost control of the fight or anything. I stayed in control of the fight. I could have used my jab a little bit more, but like I say, I didn't have any southpaw sparring. And when I fought Donovan Dennis, I was getting good quality sparring from Charles Martin, because he was in camp for a fight, and we sparred pretty good. Just to have that southpaw, being a guy that was rangy, even though Dennis was a lot smaller. And this guy, he was even shorter than Donovan Dennis, but he was a little bit more, tried to be a little bit more busier than Donovan Dennis. Donovan Dennis,
you know, he kind of got left hand happy, and I just started countering that, and that's how I set him up for that big knockout. You know, and this guy, he was giving me, you know, upper body movement. He wasn't trying to be a stationary target, but like I say, put my hands together, and he couldn't do anything with me.
Right. Now, in my defense, while I did say I expected a little bit more on the performance, you know, I did make note of those things that Jake was, you know, he was flailing his arms out there a little bit, of some throwaway shots, had a lot of upper body movement, and it looked like, you know, he was kind of trying to extend the fight a little bit, because I think it's kind of the book on him is that his chin is a little shaky. So,
Okay.
yeah, I did mention all of that, but you know, I had talked you up a little bit in some of my lead up to the fight. So, but one thing that I was wondering was, you know, fighters get up for different fights and different opponents, and in comparison to Donovan Dennis, him being a former Jarrell Miller opponent, I was just wondering, you know, maybe was there a little less sizzle with your approach to this fight, kind of having a better idea of what, you know, Willie Jake Jr. brought to the table?
I really pretty much approached it like the same fight, pretty much, even though that wasn't the same guy. You know, I just approach all my fights the same way, go in there, be smart, you know, take my time and be patient. You know, and just let the knockout come. Like I told you in the interview with Donovan Dennis, I just sat back and was patient in this fight, in the Donovan Dennis fight, and just let the knockout come. You know, he fought Big Baby Miller, and I did beat him in better fashion than Big Baby. You know, this guy, he fought American Jermaine Franklin, and I knocked him out quicker than Jermaine Franklin did. So, like I say, I felt like I did pretty good. You know, always room for improvement. And like I say, I'm only getting better.
Yeah, like I said, man, I really felt like I felt like Willie Jake Jr. kind of tasted some of that power earlier in that first round, and I felt like he kind of started playing around a little bit, and like I said, just buying time, trying not to get hurt. I mean, you guys are in the hurt business, and you know it's nothing to play with. So, you know, when a guy touches you,
nothing to play with.
You got to respect that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, he was, like I say, when I hit him in that first round and I dropped him in the first round, he got very apprehensive. And, you know, he was trying to duck and roll and go below your waist. You know, when you don't supposed to go below a guy's waist, you know, when you're slipping shots, you know what I mean? He was ducking his full entire body. You know, but truly understandable, you know, got that heat bringing up on him, you know, so, you know, I understand, you know, but I just did my thing and reigned supreme, and we're on to the next, my man.
Right. What was your, you know, your impression or your takeaway from the rest of the card, man? I saw the Helen Joseph got a victory on there. Kaylee Reese had a pretty good performance against Patty Juarez. And then Alicia Napoleon stopped Shamel. Damn, I can't remember her last name. But pretty good night's worth of action. But what was your takeaway from, you know, your promoters? It was his event. So what was your takeaway from everything?
It was a good event, man. You know, it was a nice card. You know, a bunch of up and coming talent. You know, a lot of excited fights on there. You know what I mean? Even the cards that wasn't televised. You know, it was some knockouts for some young up and coming prospects. You know, and it was just a pleasure to me fighting at the historic Foxwoods Casino. You know, I remember when my favorite fighter of all time, Roy Jones, he fought Montel Griffin in the second fight at Foxwoods. So I felt like I had to perform, you know, where the stars perform, you know, and it was a good card, man. You know, my father got to meet Freddie Roach, you know, and it was pretty good. Great experience, you know. I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed to be in this position, and I'm just relishing the moment and taking advantage of it.
All right. Hey, is there any? You mentioned Jermaine Franklin, and we've kind of seen him falter a little bit. You know, have a couple of performances that really didn't raise the level of attention towards him and whatnot. But Is there any motivation for you to kind of step in and maybe garner some attention or some consideration as, you know, the one to watch in terms of future U.S., you know, the future of heavyweight, U.S. heavyweight boxing?
Yeah, man. Every time I go out there, I just try to build my stock every fight. You know, fight my fight and fight for myself and my children. You know, and keep God first. You know, and if I do that, you know, I'm going to be victorious and look good because I got the skills, I feel, and I got the will. You know, I got the power. You know, I got the skills. You know, and like I just feel like, you know, I'm truly destined for this, man. You know, my time is near, and I'm truly on the way. You know, and I'm coming, man. I'm definitely on my way.
Now, it looks like you weighed in at about 251 pounds for this fight. I think that was about the lightest that you've entered the ring in or weighed in at.
Yes, sir.
But you just mentioned it was only a 5-week camp. Any focus
Yeah,
on getting?
I always do my camp because it was a 5-week camp when I was in San Diego. You know, I started training for this fight like mid-June. You know, when I found out about it, but I fly out to San Diego to be with my trainer, Coach Bashir Abdullah. You know, and isolate myself from my wife and children for about like 4 to 5 weeks every time I fight. And the longer my career extends, and the closer I get to fighting for world titles, you know, the longer my camps will be. You know, the higher the fights. You know what I mean? Like, the bigger the fight it is, you know, my camps will be longer and a lot more traditional, like an 8-week camp. I can't wait for that. You know, I feel like I do a lot in 4 or 5 weeks, and I just can't wait to have that platform to have an 8-week camp. You know, it's a lot of good things coming my way, man, and I just want everybody to tune in and see, like I say, I don't have anything to prove to anybody, just to improve everything that I do have. You know, I'm only improving, and that's the biggest thing about boxing. When you never stop learning, you know, and that's my father, my grandfather, my trainer, Coach Bashir, they always tell me, you know, never stop learning. You know, in life, as a man, you know, we never stop learning. So I'm only improving and being more sharp.
Now, with you coming in at this 250, is there any focus going on maybe of being lighter or comparing yourself to where the other guys that are farther along in their careers? Is that staying in line with some different trends that you're seeing, or did it just happen to be that way for this fight?
It's just how it is. You know, my career has been like pretty much a roller coaster, and you know, I've been making do with it. You know, and the more I fight consistently, my weight just falls off. You know, the closer that my camps are, and just being in that realm of fighting on a regular, man, just only going to make a fighter improve. You know, and then when you're a heavyweight, it really doesn't matter how much you weigh. You know, Anthony Joshua just lost to a guy that was 268, and in a previous fight before that, when Andrew Reese fought like
Dimitrenko
in April, yes, he was 6 pounds lighter in that fight. And he was 6 pounds heavier in the Joshua fight. He was 262 in the Dimitrenko fight and was 268 in the Joshua fight. And with me, you know, the lighter I am, the more quicker and the more sharper I am. So I'm only improving.
Okay, that's basically what I was getting at. Is there kind of and we've seen Joshua play around with his weight. This time there's some talk out there that he's playing around with, you know, his physique and maybe leaning out a little bit more. Deontay Wilder's kind of been up to 222 and then came down to 209 or something for that Fury fight. I just didn't know if there was like an ideal weight that you thought was the best, that gave opponents the best version of Big Shot on fight night.
Yeah, anything like 252, 250, anything around 250 to like 240, you know, I feel sharp, man. Really 255, 240 to 255, but 250, 245, 240, you know, anything around there, man, it's perfect for me, you know. long as I feel like I'm getting my miles in, I'm running the mountains, sprints and strength and conditioning and sparring and rest and sleep and recovery and, all of that stuff in the proper way that I need to, I'm going to be victorious, man,
Got you. Now, like I said, I mentioned earlier, you're signed to DiBella Entertainment. Lou DiBella is one of the guys out there, the promoters out there that, I tend to like to listen to get a good eye, just to add to my understanding of what's going on in the game along a lot of different boxing topics and things that we all debate and discuss. So I appreciate the cat's, his outlook and his understanding of how the game works. Have you had a chance to sit down with him and he's kind of mapped out kind of what the vision is for your career and the major objectives for you and how to get those accomplished?
Me and Lou per se haven't had that sit down, but the people that work for Lou and my manager and all that, that's pretty much been the discussion. This fight, moving forward after this fight, all that's about to be pretty much discussed in like the next following weeks. And like I say, it's only getting better and better. It's only improving. My career is only improving. And, my career is coming along, right at the perfect time, I feel. And, Lou, he's on board, but I haven't had that sit down per se, just personally with Lou.
Okay. They mentioned on the stream the other night, and, I know from talking to you when you were here in Columbus, you've been in camp with the WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder multiple times. On the stream, they mentioned that you've been a fixture for about 2 years, and you kind of made a joke about being invited back means a couple of things on a couple different or it's twofold in a way. But over that 2-year period, man, has there been anything in yourself that you've seen vastly improve each and every time out?
Yeah. Every time, I've been dominating these guys ever since I've been in Deontay. I was beating guys and dominating guys before then, but it's like me working with Deontay really lets me know where I'm at, in my career. It definitely gives me that confidence, like, to let me know that I'm a future world champion in the making, man, working with Deontay. Everything's an improvement. I'm getting older. I'm getting more mature. I'm slowly approaching my prime. I'm not in my prime yet. I'm not even the full fighter that I'm potentially going to be when I finally reach my full potential. So just me going down there with the champ pretty much lets me know where I'm at. It makes me feel good.
Is this a major benefit to you? The punching power of Deontay is becoming more and more increasingly touted. He's being mentioned as possibly,
I wonder why.
He's being mentioned as possibly the biggest puncher ever in the sport.
Good, man.
How do you deal with this? Sparring this dude and day after day in a training camp.
Well, I try to put a limit on how much I get hit. Because it's about getting hit and not getting hit. It's about hitting and not getting hit. It's not about absorbing the best guy's shots and then you try to shoot yours back. It can be a shootout like that, but it doesn't get like that. It doesn't get too crazy. I can count on one hand how many times where we didn't actually had a shootout. Like where we gunning for each other. But. We both try to stay poised, just like how he fight in the ring. He try to stay poised and just let whatever happen. I approach the same way when I'm in there with him. It'd be some good stuff, man. Me and Deontay, we work real well together. And like I say, it just lets me know where I'm at, man. Being a fighter, 26 years old, 12-0 with 9 knockouts. It definitely lets me know where I'm at when I'm in there with him.
Right. I follow you. I follow you on Instagram, and I follow and keep an idea of what's going on, or what's current with Deontay, and I see some of the footage and content from the camp. I see you guys doing dinner and whatnot, and I know that Junior Five's been another guy that's been on the show. And just get an idea of what's going on, and then we all know that, we constantly get out here with as the public and fans and whatnot, and we have our strong allegiances to these guys. But I've enjoyed hearing some of Wilder's or Deontay's criticism and praise for different fighters. So it lets me know some things about what goes on behind the scenes. So and he's a very caring dude, a very genuine guy.
Real good brother, man. Real good-hearted dude. For the Tyson Fury fight, he invited me and my father over to his house. Beautiful home, beautiful family, and his family, they had some good old down-home southern cuisine, soul food for us, and it was beautiful, man. He broke bread with us, man, and showed us around his compound. And Deontay's a very good dude, man, and it's not a clue. It's not a mystery why he's blessed and why he's in the position he in, because like I say, he's a good dude. He's been about his craft. He took everything the critics said about him, and did it his way. And, he's sitting on top. Like I say, that's my man. And I go down there and we keep each other sharp. You know what I'm saying? So number love for Deontay. Is a real good brother, man.
Is there anything specifically, that he shared with you, maybe for you? It's kind of like Neo in the Matrix going and getting a word from the Oracle. And like you said, he's experienced all this stuff and had to fight
Absolutely
to where he has. Is there anything specifically that he shared with you?
He just said, you're gonna be ready when your time comes. You're gonna be ready. And that's all you think about. When your time do come, be ready for it. Just be ready. That's because when your time do come, you're gonna be ready. And he also told me, man, he can, is anything's possible. You see what he said. You see, I'm down here doing it. It's reachable, bro. You know what I mean? You can make it happen. You know what I'm saying? You on your way, Shaw. Keep it real with you. So, like I say, he's a real good, humble dude. You know what I'm saying? And he's just a good one, man. He's a real one too.
Okay. Appreciate that. On the telecast and doing your post-fight interview, you mentioned that 2021 would probably would you said with some certainty, that 2021 would be a target for you to make a run at a title. The landscape could change drastically at that point based on the age of everybody and who has to fight who. Is there an opponent out there or a type of opponent that would convince your team and the public that it's truly that time for you to make that step?
I really don't know. You know what I mean? Because 2021, that's still almost 2 years. You know what I mean? However you want to slice it. You know what I mean? And like I say, anything can happen. I'm just taking my fight, just one fight at a time. Whoever's in my trajectory, could change in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So, really no particular opponent. Just the guys when I get up there, whoever has the belts. I just keep racking up victories and keep doing my part. I'm gonna easily be in that spot, to fight for a title.
Do you foresee any type of collisions between you and guys like Franklin? Cassius Chaney is out there. Damani Rock is out there. You envision some run-ins with these types of guys along the way?
Absolutely. If they in my way, I will beat those guys as well. I feel like I can beat anybody they put in front of me. I feel like I'm truly the best heavyweight prospect in America, from America, bred in America. And You know, time only gonna tell, and you know, everyone will see. You know that what I've been saying since I was a little boy. You know, most of these guys don't even have a pedigree like I do. Most of these guys haven't been around and doing boxing and been in boxing as long as I've been in boxing. I've been in boxing my entire life. You know, my grandfather, he's mentored some of the best trainers in the world. You know, Mike Stafford, Kevin Cunningham, you know, Kenny Porter. You know, all those guys came in front of my grandfather at one point in time in their life. You know, so I come from that cloth, you know, a deep-rooted boxing tradition in my family, you know, and like I say, I got the pedigree behind it, you know, and like I say, only time gonna tell, and I'll beat them all.
Have you, is there any thoughts on, you know, that's kind of been the word the last year or so, was that a guy like Franklin was kind of leading the way as the number one U.S., you know, hopeful in terms of getting into the championship picture. Have you any reaction to that opinion of him? And then also, have you kind of been have you noticed kind of where things have kind of taken? I mean, they've kind of slowed down for him with some of these recent performances.
Yeah, you know, I drew into it. You know, he's got the record. You know, they pretty much moved him to where he's in a position to have as many fights. You know, for me to where my career haven't been moved like that. You know, when I was with my previous management team, you know, they was trying to get me to fight Adam Kalnacki when I only had 8 fights. You know, and that's not a fight you take when you're only 8-0. You know, that's a fight you usually take when you're like 18-0. So pretty much me knowing that, you know, that wasn't a smart move for me. So my career hasn't had the opportunity to be 20-something-0 and fighting on ShowBox and here and there. So, but you know, not trying to block or anything or hate on anybody's position. You know, he's in that position for a reason. You know, he got a great team behind him, and you know, and they making it happen for him. And he's been putting up victories. You know, but you know, he haven't looked the best in his last 2 fights, and you know, it just happens. You know, styles make fights, but you know, I feel like I can beat them all. You know, his trainer know his trainer know who I am. You know, that he respects me. You know, and I respect him. You know, I respect any man that get in the ring and put his life on the line as a fighter. You know, but I feel like I'm the best heavyweight prospect in the game right now, especially coming out of America. You know, bred in America, born in America. You know, and I have the pedigree behind me, and like I say, only time gonna tell, and I'm only improving and getting better.
You mentioned Kownacki, and he just had the you know, one of the better fights of the year, and a hell of a action-packed fight for heavyweights against you know, a well-known guy and a veteran like and a former world challenger like Areola. You know, do you think how far do you think you are away from that kind of a test against a guy like that who, you know, is kind of in that gatekeeper role for you? Is there anybody out there?
I think when I'm right around like 18-0, 17-0, you know, I fight those kind of guys just like he's in that position, like where he's 19-0 or 18-0, and he's fighting those guys 20-0 now. You know, like I say, those guys are 30 years old, and they just now getting in that position. And, you know, I'm 26 years old. So, like I say, by 2021, I'll be fighting those gatekeepers to fight for world titles, you know, and be in that position to fight for world titles, you know. My time is coming.
Gotcha. I was looking at your record, and I'm only bringing up this because it's a mutual opponent with you and between you and Cassius Chaney, but the Cotto fight from 18, it looks like it was turned into a no contest. What happened with that?
Yeah. Well, I had it was like it was an error. You know, I had took an edible and they changed the fight to a no contest. You know, due to them finding THC in my system from an edible. But we got past that, and you know, I've taken multiple drug tests and blood and urine tests after that, and passed all those tests. And that was just a little blender in my life, you know, where I was going through a little depression in my life. going through kind of some, just some deep things in my life. I was at a dark space in my life, falling out, getting released from my contract from my previous management team, just a lot of stuff that was going on. And like I say, I'm past that, 3 straight knockouts since then. And I'm only getting better and improving, man.
Now, one of the things that I really, I've come to admire about you, and just, seeing you outside of the ring, seeing your team behind the scenes, and listening to you talk about your family and your sons and whatnot. What's the role of that? One of my favorite examples of that, I guess, would be Andre Ward. What's the significance or the importance of your family unit, to what you have going on in the ring?
I love Andre Ward and everything he represented as a fighter, as a man, and as a man of God, and as a family man. I try to stand on those same principles. Everything I do is for my family, through the grace of God, and God, family, and boxing. That's my life. That's what I'm about. That's what I put my life to. That's what I dedicate my life to, and I love it that way. Peaceful, happy. Just a good dude. I never been in any trouble. Never been a criminal. Not. I have a bunch of criminals in my family, but I never chose that route. My father, he was a college man. Graduated from college, graduated from the only HBCU here in St. Louis, Missouri. I was going to that same HBCU before I started back boxing. I just try to live right, man. Stand on godly principles, family principles, and keep my family and God first, man.
Now, is that your wife or your girlfriend that I met in Columbus? Is that your wife?
That was my wife. Me and my wife have been married for about 3 years now.
Okay. How was she with this? How was she with this, man? Because she seems to be, hands on and involved in everything that's going on, man. So how was? She
knows about the sport. She was a fighter herself. We actually got involved with each other through boxing. So that's why I say, man, God, boxing is my life. Boxing helped me find my dreams and my career path and success. Boxing's been my life, and boxing helped me find my wife. My kids are offsprings through boxing and love and, keeping God first, and that's all I'm about, man. So, she was a former fighter, so she pretty much understands the lifestyle. She understands the sacrifices that I have to go away to San Diego for 4 to 5 weeks, while she takes care of the boys, with little help from my parents, she knows about the sacrifices, and she knows about the entire, about the fighting lifestyle, so I love that, and I love my wife, and she supports me 1,000%, and I love it, man.
That's dope. You learn a lot. I mentioned this in some of my podcasts and some of the videos that I do, man, that I look at what's going on way outside of the ring, the circle around different fighters. And like you said, in watching your demeanor in the ring versus your demeanor with your family and whatnot, that's way more impressive to me for a guy to be. And Ward was a master at that too, being this upstanding guy outside of the ring and all of that, but then turn into that real dog and in the ring. And like I said, it's just one of the major factors that I look at when I start talking about fighters and looking at a trajectory of where they may be down the road. So
well, that's I think that's because most inner city black fighters, man, to be honest, want the Floyd Mayweather lifestyle. They want the glitz and the glamour, the flash, the diamonds, the money, the attention that he gets from everybody, the women, and just the fast lifestyle. But Floyd, he presented that lifestyle to 24/7 just to sell himself. He was a family guy himself, but due to him being who he is, that just became him. But most guys, I feel, you know, even Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, he was a brash, bold guy when he talked, but he was the family man, you know, family guy, you know, took care of his daughters, you know, and, you know, I try to exemplify that myself, you know. You really don't see too many of that nowadays, you know, but, you know, that's what I try to represent, and that's what I stand for, and that's the principles I stand for. And, you know, my mother and father have been married since 91, been companions with each other since 1981. So all I know is love and companionship, you know, and that's what I represent, and that's what I'm going to instill in my two sons. And, you know, just being a man and taking care of your responsibilities, and whatever you put your mind to, you do it fearlessly. So there it is, man.
Well spoken. I appreciate that. I know we're running a little long, so I'm gonna get ready to get into these final few questions, man. I got some college football I want to check out actually. So
Okay.
hey, what's your quickly, man? Just what's your takes on you know, the Wilder Ortiz rematch? You know the man firsthand, and as well as the Wilder Fury rematch, if that should happen. You know, based on the results from the fight with Ortiz, what's your outlook on both of those fights?
Both of those fights should be good, intriguing fights. I feel like Deontay, he's trying to be honest, he just wants to knock Ortiz out quicker than he did. You know, because he already stopped the guy. So to give him a rematch, he's just trying to annihilate him in his next fight. You know, I'm going down there with him. I'm going to go down there with him and hopefully give him some work for that. You know, help them out, you know, whatever they need from me, you know, whatever they need me to help them with and do. You know, I of course, I'll go down there, you know, and help them get ready for that fight, not be too over anxious trying to knock them out, you know, and just set it up, you know. But he just wants to, I feel like he just want to beat him in better fashion. And, you know, it's a bone to pick with him and Fury. You know, he wants to put him, you know, he wants to knock him out and make it official this time, you know. So, you know, those fights should be some good, interesting fights, man. Very intriguing. I love it because it's bringing the sport back to the true essence, the heavyweight. Everybody love to see the heavyweight fight, especially a skill one. You know, that's where I feel like I come in at, man, and bring to the table. But I'm intrigued to see it all, brother.
Are you kind of, you know, are you picking up on, or what's your thoughts towards the sense that, you know, with Fury being back in the game longer and being more active, lead into a potential fight with Wilder, a lot of people are, you know, and then some, you know, with the belief that he won that fight, you know, on the cards, or should have won it on the cards. But with him being more active and sharper, you know, do you think, what's your thoughts on the sentiments out here that he could pull off the victory?
Fury, I feel like Fury can box, you know. To be honest, you know, the boxer in the rematch, he always has a better chance because he tries to correct his mistakes and see what he didn't do. You know, all Fury has to do is just do what he did, probably inflict a little bit more damage than he did in the last fight, and try not to go to sleep and stay more alert, you know. And Deontay just got to slow his attack down, you know, started to the body instead to the head. You know, him being 6'9", that was I think Deontay's first time really fight some guy taller than him. You know, so that was the adjustment. That was the adjustment that Klitschko wasn't ready for. And Deontay, he lets his hands go better than Klitschko, I feel. So Deontay, I feel he should just start his attack to the body and then bring it up top. You know, freeze him downstairs, you know, because the upper body can move so much. And if you touch him downstairs, you know, and bring it back to the head, you know, it'll set up the knockout shots better.
Yeah, that was one of my thoughts on that first fight. Was I was amazed at how you know, big of a target Fury's midsection was, and that Wilder kind of
Deontay didn't take advantage of it. That's what I explained to him. I said I would, like when I was down there and I talked to Jay, and I told him, I said I would start the right hand to the stomach, start the right hand to the body first, just to get in range to touch him, because Deontay's never fought somebody taller than him. You know, Deontay's always had the height advantage over guys, and for the first time, he was the shorter man in the ring. So I felt he should have started the right hand downstairs and then sneak it up top, you know, so he wouldn't see it.
Are you interested in seeing kind of as a, you never know what kind of scenarios you could find yourself in down the road. Are you interested in seeing how Joshua can rebound from this loss to Ruiz? I sit around and I hear so many people write him off, and I'm trying to read through. I'm trying to read through what's biased, and people that just were never going to like Anthony Joshua. And I'm trying to get a sense of what we could really expect in this rematch. 'Cause I don't want to see Joshua really do bad, and I don't like him any more than I do.
No, it's not. It's not the fact of him doing bad. Right. Well, I look at it like this, man. In that fight, a lot of people have a lot of conspiracy. Oh, this and they didn't take the fight serious. I said, look at this like this, man. He dropped the guy. He dropped Ruiz. And he went on the finish to clean him up, to take him out. Soon as Ruiz got up from that knockdown, they told him to box. Joshua hit him again with another big 1-2. But the only difference, Ruiz took it. He took it on the chin better than that hook. And then he started firing back and caught him in the exchange. It wasn't nothing that Joshua did or a mistake. He caught him in the exchange trying to knock him out. And got clipped high on the head and knocked his whole equilibrium off. And Ruiz didn't let him up off the hook. And if he happens to get caught in the same place or the same way again, it might be the same result. Joshua just has to, not take him for granted, take him as a real fight, and just be more apprehensive of what Ruiz could do. But I think, he had dropped Ruiz pretty and went on an attack to finish him and just got caught.
Right. Now, conversely, looking at Ruiz, watching him in social media and some of the rumors out there and seeing some of the purchases that he's made with the money and whatnot, is that something, not really a cautionary tale for you, but I know, like you said, you have your wife, you have 2 kids, maybe more in the future. Yeah. An opportunity against an opportunity such as this to fight a guy like Joshua totally changed Ruiz's life. Is that something that you're looking at?
Absolutely, man. What you say, is that something I'm looking at? What?
Is that something that you just take into consideration? Should you find yourself in a life-changing situation, like how to better manage that?
Absolutely, man. He just reaping the benefits and the blessings of his career. I think his biggest purse before this fight was $500,000, and he turns around and knocks the guy out in upset fashion. Nobody wrote him off. He knocked out the best physique heavyweight of all time, loses to the, I guess, worst physique heavyweight champion of all time. And, but people don't know, like, and Ruiz has true talent. He has skills. He's been doing this since he was a little boy. He got the pedigree, the amateur pedigree behind him to prove it. A lot of muscle memory. He might not be the best chiseled, ripped up guy, but he has muscle memory because he's been doing it for so long. And like I say, he told his mom, we don't have to never worry about anything again. I know how it is, having it hard in boxing, the beginning of your life, in boxing, especially if you don't have the team as strong as you would want it to be in your corner or working behind the scenes for you. I know how it is struggling and being a fighter, man. Fighters struggle. That's what they don't tell you. And that's what they don't show you. They show you the glitz and glamour and the 24/7 when you finally are a champion or finally in position to have a little money. But they don't talk about the road when you first start off. And it's hard. Bills are past due, and you have to pay bills as soon as you get your fight check. You know what I mean? And it's a lot. So to have $7 million in victory and in upset fashion, and to negotiate whatever you feel you deserve, because now they need you to make a fight again to get your titles now. So he's just living his life, man. He purchased that big house. Like I said, I praise in the gym, but I think he'll be ready for the fight. It's in December. It's August right now. I know he has his birthday coming up because we're Virgos. You know, I know his birthday's coming up, but I feel like after his birthday, you know, he should go on and just buckle down and just get it going for these last 3 months and get ready for it, man.
Yeah, I saw the celebration he had last week, and I'm with you, man. You definitely gotta take some time for yourself and enjoy your you know, the trappings and the success and all of that. And I think he'll zero it in and get started.
Yeah, I think he will too, man.
Yeah. Well, that's it, man. Like I said, I didn't mean to take up an hour of your time, but I do find you to be an interesting cat, and you know, we touched on a wide range of things to let some people know, you know, who you are when they do see you, you know, as you do make your arrival on the bigger stages. So, any last words to you know, anybody out there that'll come across this video?
Well, I want you guys to keep supporting me. I thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak, you know, and talk on your platform, you know, and just keep following me, man. Follow me at Stephan Big Shot Shaw on Facebook. Follow me at Big Shot Shaw on Instagram, big_shot_Shaw. And follow me at Big Shot Shaw on Twitter, man. You know, follow my career. You know, I'm only improving. I'm only getting better. You know, I feel like I'm the true best heavyweight prospect out of America. You know, and my time is coming. My time is near, man. And I'm going to continue to keep winning, keep getting better, and, you know, and keep enjoying life with my family, you know, and enjoying this ride and this journey, you know, all the way to the top. And thank you guys for supporting me, those who do support me, and keep supporting me.
All right. Like I said, man, you know, I'm a little disappointed no fight fans made it into the video, you know, to join us in real time in case anybody had any
questions. It's all good, man.
But like I said, it's a crowded sports weekend. I'm late now getting into this ESPN Plus card, so I'm getting ready to check that out. But like I said, man, I appreciate your time, and it means the world to me, this hour that you've given me. And, you know, I look forward to talking with you in the future,
no problem, man.
All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
All right,
yes,
take
sir.
care, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Like I said, man, I'm just doing my thing, man, getting the types of stories and the type of coverage that I want out there for boxing. So I appreciated the brother giving me the time. But like I said, we are running a little long and getting into the sweet spot of Saturday afternoons. And like I said, now I done missed a couple of 40 minutes of this ESPN Plus card, and there was some prospects on it that I wanted to see. So now I got to go back and watch that on demand, I guess. And then also, hell, my Michigan Wolverines might be on TV right now. So I'm getting ready to get on out of here. Again, please consider subscribing to the channel and supporting what I'm doing. Definitely more of this coming in the future. Please check out bitedownboxing.com. That's where I do, you know, I'm only one person over there, so I do what I can in the written side of the game. Check out the other content that's here on the channel, breaking down fights, you know, providing my analysis on stuff, recapping fights and whatnot. And then also check me out on my family site, roundbyroundboxing.com. I like to cook over there too. Check out that new pound for pound list that we have over there with about 15 to 20 different individuals involved with boxing for a long, you know, everybody with their own types of experience, but it's photographers, it's contributors to Fight Hypes stuff is on there, some different writers, longtime writers. So again, check that out. And like I said, man, I'm just trying to do my thing out here with letting people know, you know, some of the, you know, the best aspects of boxing in this sport that we love. So that's that. Have a great weekend. It's a holiday weekend. Hopefully you're getting in some time with your family. And hopefully, you know, you enjoyed this video. So don't forget to hit that like button. Please share. I said I think Stephan Shaw is pretty good dude, man. I'm hoping for the best for him, but it's boxing, so it could happen or it couldn't happen. you know, we never know. But I just wanted to get him on here so people could get a chance to know more about the cat. Like I said, man, I'm getting ready to be out. Appreciate all the support.
Everybody wanna judge, but I never hold judge. Cause everybody came up in my shoes. Bankroll on swole and the hoes on go. Y'all niggas can't do what I do. I done showed a lot of love and I never got it back and I never asked for it. I'm cool. When you really on the job, like I'm really on the job, getting to it, tell me how can you look? Come take a look in the eyes of a legend. Mind over matter, let's fight this depression. Let's fight this oppression, fight back with aggression. This come with your heart, I provide all the weapons. Come take a look in the eyes of a soldier. I drop that real and it spread like Ebola. Man, on my word, I don't know what they told ya. I got the weight of the world on my... Let me talk to 'em. Everybody know the name. I'm one of one, I'm a god in my lane. The devil up on me, I'm marching in flames. The Lord at my heart, I got my angel wings. They talk about people accomplishing dreams. They talk about me and the rest of my team. Keeping it G, it ain't on what it seems. It get complicated like Avril Lavigne. Yeah, top down, screaming out money and a thing. Box out, never let a nigga in my lane. Cropped out, you would get taken out the frame. Dropped out, nigga had to find another way. I don't like when you bitch niggas hate from afar. I respect